So as we continue with our decade dishes, we get to the 90s. And in the 90s, what happened was we started to work really hard on white meats. They became very, very popular. And then all of the really rich, antioxidant full foods like beans, legumes, yes? And then very slow methods of cooking. So what we've done here is we have our sous vide. This was a very ancient method of cooking from almost back in the 60s and 70s. And what it is you take your piece of meat, you add your flavor to it, and we have veal here, so a white meat, and you place it into a water bath. This is what sous vide means. And we keep it in there for a long, slow bath. That strengthens the protein, cooks the meat very, very slowly, so you're getting really good quality. When it's done, we're going to take it out and rest it, and we finish it in a pan, in a saute pan, like so, with a lot of herbs and a little bit of garlic. And what we do is we just baste it. So here we have this beautiful piece of veal, very, very tender. And you notice that I've roasted this with a little bit of rosemary, yes, and the butter was just sauteed. So the meat does not need to be rested anymore because it's almost fully cooked, but it's mid-rare, so we have it at a perfect temp. Yes, so what we want to do is we want to take our meat and we want to serve it with a little tiny bit of butternut squash. So what we have is a butternut squash puree. This is when purees really started to become popular. It was always things like potato puree before. Here we go with some adzuki beans, and these are really full of rich antioxidants, and we have a little bit of fresh tomato going into that as well. And we've just poached the adzuki beans with a little bit of kamut, which is a really ancient grain. So all these beautiful grains were coming into their own. Here we have some green vegetable, and this is broccolini, and we've cooked it with a little bit of white sesame seed. And then we can actually serve our nice piece of veal. And what we want to do is make sure that we have this slightly carved a little tiny bit. I'm just going to cut it one time against the grain, and you'll see this beautiful piece of meat, how beautifully red and pink and beautiful it is, yeah? And we're just going to take these two pieces right on here and display your meat really beautifully. I have a little piece of cheesecloth here to clean my plate. I'm just going to do that right here. And then we have a sauce, and this sauce is another really amazing berry. This is an acai berry, which is very, very full of antioxidants as well, but very, very bright in color. We're just going to put a little tiny bit around, and you see we're using a very kind of tough piece of veal, but because of this method of cooking, we've tenderized it. It's real easy to eat. And then I just thought we'd put a tiny bit of herb salad on the top of that. This is very, very popular in the 90s as well. Just a little bit of herb, tiny bit of herb tossed in a little greens, just a little bit of vinaigrette on the top of it. So this is basil, a little bit of tarragon, and a little bit of a beautiful flat leaf parsley. And here we have a typical dish of the 90s. So we're almost there. We've almost reached the 100-year mark. One more to go, the 90s.